how to grow your online business to 30 to 50K per month as fast as humanly possible using AI agents. Now, that being said, if we've never met, hi, my name is Larry Anzapora, aka Sales Sensei. And really, the goal is how do we book more calls, close more deals, and most importantly, reactivate some of those dead leads in your CRM without hiring more sales reps or what I call lazy setters and closers, grinding in the DMs or being exhausted with cold outreach, being stuck in the sales hamster wheel and burning out on endless calls, or without necessarily having to spend hundreds of hours trying to figure out how to build and code all these AI systems yourself, especially if you're not techie like me. So, for those of you who stay until the end, I'll share how you can actually access our AI agents playbook and implement it inside of your business for free. Now, if you want to skip the line, go ahead. There's actually a link to that AI agents playbook in the description below. Now, you still have to watch the actual training here today so you know how to actually implement it. So, with that being said, let's get this show on the road. If you don't know who I am, this is me. I am not the Asian Childish Gambino. My name, like I said, is Larry Anzaporta. I've closed over 5.4 million high-ticket sales myself, scaled 5 separate sales teams from 6 to 7 figures as a sales manager and director, and I've coached over 200 plus business owners and sales reps. In fact, this is one of my sales teams in actually Q4 2024. We took them from 78,000 to 297,000 per month using some of the strategies that we're going to go through today, right? Here's some other fancy photos of me and we don't really need to spend some time into, right? Now, why you're here, topics. Here's the topics that we're actually going to be covering. Why 90% of businesses will fail next year unless they actually use this one thing, right? How you can most importantly leverage what I call this AI revolution as your unfair advantage in the coaching or consulting space. And we're actually going to go through what I call the AI Sales Rep Foundation, the number one secret weapon to close your next 10 plus clients, and how to launch your first AI sales reps in 14 days, even if you're not tech savvy like me. So let's ask ourselves, this is a key question I want everyone to ask themselves real quick. What's the one skill? What's the one skill set that you believe will actually help you get to 30 to 50K per month the fastest, right? Now, if you're like me and you understand the power of AI, or maybe you're someone who's beginning of this and you don't even know where the true opportunity here, then this is perfectly for you because I'm going to invite you to think about that you need to learn and master the number one skill of the decade, which is leveraging AI. Okay, leveraging AI. Now, this macro skill set of AI can actually be composed of what I call a variety of different AI skills: prompt engineering, AI automation, AI agents, chatbots, voice, custom chat GPT development, AI data analysis interpretation, AI video and content creation, AI consulting, AI training and onboarding. Isn't that a mouthful? Well, here's the thing. The number one problem that I've learned spending the past year and a half trying to really go all in on this AI stuff is there's just too much. There's way too much. It's overwhelming, it's frustrating, and oftentimes when I was first learning this and also trying to first learn how to implement this in 2024, it's such shiny object syndrome that you don't actually move the needle. It ends up just being a bunch of AI just for the sake of AI, instead of using and leveraging AI for the sake of booking more calls, closing more deals, putting more profit in your cash, right, in your pockets, and most importantly, actually helping you save the time and get you the freedom that you want as a real CEO, not just being a slave inside of your business. So I'm going to narrow down what I believe is the number one thing to focus on for 2025, which is AI agents. Now, a lot of these skills are very important, but this is where I feel like you should start out, especially if you don't even know where to start, right? You might be someone who knows that we need to use AI inside of their business, but I don't even know where the first step is. So this video is where we're going to cover that today, right? Now, let me paint the picture. Let me paint the picture of like why I think this is so important. And most importantly, it's we're not even in a position anymore of like, should I use AI? It's if you don't use AI, and this sounds very bold, but your business will die. Not might die, will die, right? And this is why I believe 90% of coaching and consulting businesses and agencies will go out of business if you haven't had some level of success to this point. You will go out of business in 2026, within the next year, unless you leverage AI now. It's kind of think about it like this. It's the same path of social media, meaning if you don't use social media in today's landscape, there's very little chance your business is going to be successful, right? And we were kind of in a crossroads back in like 2015, 2016 with the same kind of dilemma, which is a lot of business owners knew they needed to use this new thing that was social media, but they didn't necessarily know how. And guess what? fast forward 10 years from now, which is 2025 today, if you don't use social media, your business is pretty much non-existent. That's the same thing that's going to happen with AI, honestly, in the next 10 years. So I wanted to use that frame of mind as we continue through this training, because if you're stuck under $20,000 per month, it's often because you've tackled the two most important aspects in your business and you're kind of lacking this piece. You haven't tackled this yet. So number one is you're missing a predictable client acquisition at scale. And number two, you have an inefficient sales team structure, right? Sales is one of the most important things you have to focus on from 0 to 50K, from 0 to 30K per month. In fact, it is that in marketing, those are the two things that you really should only be focusing your time on, right? So here's the issue. A lot of the sales and marketing strategies that you've learned over the years, they're outdated. They worked in 2019, 2020, maybe even 2022, but in 2025 and 2026 and 2030, or 2023, 2030, you're just not going to be able to just use the same old techniques. You got to use the new way. And if you don't, you're going to have inconsistent income each month. You're going to still need the constant need of more sales calls on the calendar. You're going to have unstable closing rates. Your prospects that you attract are continuing to be broke and can't afford your price point. And you're just going to be very frustrated and overwhelmed. Why am I not going anywhere, right? Now, we're mainly going to focus on this in today's training. We will touch a little bit on this, but I want to focus more on number one because it is the number one thing that I think people are missing in today's space. After coaching over 200 plus business owners, this is the same thing over and over again that they're facing, right? You can't expect consistent outputs, meaning more sales calls and more clients, if your sales team's performance is inconsistent. Well, let's talk about this, right? Why might your sales team's performance be inconsistent? Well, guess what? 95%, maybe 99% of sales teams are powered by what? Human labor. And human labor is what? Unreliable. Because human labor is unreliable because we are based on a complete machine powered by people who are emotional, who are inconsistent. They are driven by, maybe I did well, maybe I didn't do well. And so there's just so much up and down. So if you crack client acquisition, but your sales team can't keep up the new volume and leads and sales calls, you end up just leaving money on the table and stressing over inconsistent sales months. And if you have a solid sales team structure, but you can't get consistent leads and sales calls on your calendar, your team members end up quitting and you have to start over from scratch every few months. This is the twofold dilemma that I've realized building multiple six-figure and seven-figure sales teams time and time again, is if you're missing, number one, a predictable client acquisition system, then your team just leaves. So you got to start from scratch building the team again. And then if you don't have this, an inefficient sales team, you could have all the calls in the world, but you're not maximizing and squeezing the lemon that you actually have in front of you. You're leaving money on the table. So it's a twofold problem that can actually be solved by replacing the core constraint, which is instead of 100% relying on human labor, why don't we use the most reliable, which is technology, aka AI sales reps? So let's talk a little bit about that. And we call it AI agents, right? Why? We're going to talk about the AI agents that lead to 5 to 10 plus qualified daily calls and 50, 100K, 150, even 200K plus months for some of our clients, right? Here's screenshots on the calendars there. But you might be asking, what the hell is an AI agent? You might see this on your YouTube screen or even just your IG reel or algorithm. You're like, what is this whole AI agent thing? Okay, let's not overcomplicate. I want to the reason why I'm making this training is I want to simplify very technical and often complicated, convoluted terms. Okay, best way to think about it is just your first digital employee. Okay, it's just a digital employee that works on autopilot 24/7. Okay, and it's an AI agent, a digital employee you can install inside of your business to work independently with or without you, right? Independently with or without you. So, for example, let's just simplify this even more. When you hire and train a sales rep or team member inside of your team to work, guess what? They're working, once you onboard and ramp them up, they're working with or without you. You could be on vacation, you could be out of your desk, you could be eating lunch, you could be doing a bunch of crazy stuff. Hopefully not. But they're still going to be working with or without you, okay? So an AI agent is the same thing. Now, the misconception, I'm going to go in this in a little bit, but an AI agent is not just software, okay? It's not like go high level in your CRM, or it's not like counting the books or calls. An AI agent is not a software. That's probably the biggest misconception that a lot of people like go through. And it's actually something that I used to like not really understand at first either, right? It's actually creating talent inside of your business. So for the first time in human history, we have the ability to create A player talent instead of needing to hire for them. Okay, we have the ability to create A player talent instead of needing to hire for them. Okay, why might we want to do that? Well, I want to ask you a question that I often thought about, which I thought was kind of a crazy question, and I'm actually going to pose it to you here. Okay, key question. Here it is. How can I have an A player talent on my team without needing to hire, train, manage, and fire humans all the time? Right? Because again, that was one of the biggest issues that I had within my own sales teams, my client sales teams, is you would get your business to a certain point, let's say consistent 100K per month or 50K per month, but then someone would leave or talent would just slack. And your sales reps, which were good back in the day, are now lazy and getting fat off their commission checks and they don't want to work as hard, right? Well, the answer is actually AI agents. Okay. And this wasn't possible 5 years ago, but now it is in 2025. You can now have A players on your team without them needing to be human using AI agents. I'm going to say that again because that is so beautiful. You can now have A player talent on your team without it all having to be 100% human. Okay. Now, this quote, got this from a friend of mine. He actually got it from a book. He's an 8-figure entrepreneur. He shared this with me on a Zoom call that we were having, a one-on-one call. And he says, the beauty of AI is not its intelligence. The beauty is rather that it's soulless. Now, I know, soulless. Everyone's like, oh my God, they're gonna replace humans. They're gonna take away the arts. They're soulless. They're taking away the human touch. Okay, I get it. I get that people think that. Now, I don't want us to over misinterpret what this word soulless means, because there's the negative connotation of it, which is kind of that negative belief I used to have, and I was just explaining. But there's the beautiful positive side of it, which is there's no emotions. It's reliable. It's actually someone that can operate its job without having to take breaks or having to have its girlfriend break up with it, without having to, take a vacation, or without having to get lazy or going through the ups and downs. There's a negative way to look at soulless, and there's a positive way to look at soulless. And I invite you to think about the positive way, which is that this A-player talent operates without emotion. So it just gets the job done. And emotions is both a beautiful thing about humans, but it can also be a negative thing about humans. And the negative is what we're stripping out, okay? When it comes specifically to our sales process. Because right now we are going through a gold rush, okay? We're going through a gold rush. Think back to the gold rush of 1849 in California, okay? This is the best way that I invite you to think about what an AI agent is. In the gold rush, when you were a miner or you were just maybe a Joe Schmo that wanted to strike it rich, the pickaxe, right, was the tool they used to mine gold, but it still required a laborer, aka a human, to operate that tool. So you got a gold mine. All right, cool. I see the gold mine. I got my pickaxe. It still requires you or someone you hired to mine that gold. Okay, so the pickaxe is the tool. Well, guess what? AI agents is not just the tool, it's also the laborer that learns and that you teach how to use that tool. Okay, so let me say that again. The AI agent is the laborer. Okay, it replaces you or whoever you hired to mine the gold. The tool is the software AI that, or social media or whatever sales process that you've taught this AI. So now you have the pickaxe, you're teaching the AI agent. The AI agent now learns how to use the tool, and now they're mining for gold. And now you wake up and you're like, oh my God, I'm filthy, sick, and rich. I just took advantage of this whole gold rush, this whole AI gold rush. Okay? So instead of you mining the gold yourself, you can focus on just being the investor of the whole operation, really operate at a high level, really be the business owner working on the business and your whole operation, instead of trying to be the miner, the laborer, working your own sales process, being stuck in that sales hamster wheel, or as you level up, being stuck managing a bunch of miners that you just hired, right? So instead of trying to make this all human, I want to create a bit of an army of AI agents mining this gold rush on my behalf, okay? Because here's something, and I'm actually quoting myself. Okay, I'm so egotistical. I'm quoting myself here. An AI agent is like cloning your best setter, okay? It's like cloning a 7-figure sales rep, a closer or a setter, whatever it might be, your 7-figure sales rep, your A-player talent, without the drama, without having to pay them the payroll or commissions, without them having their up and downs, unreliable months. It's literally cloning your best A-player sales rep. Think of it as almost like cloning me, right? I was a 7-figure sales rep, closed 5.4 million in high ticket sales. It's like cloning me, putting it inside of your business. Guess what? The hard reality and truth is you're not going to be able to hire with high probability a 7-figure sales rep that's just going to come work for your business, right? They're only going to work for the top 1% sales teams. That was my mentality, and that was a lot of mentality of the closers that I trained and managed. They're not just going to work for a 20, 30, or 50K per month business. They're going to work for a 200K, 300K, 500K per month business because they want those 20K per month commission checks or more. So this is a way for you to get access to that top 1% talent without having to go through the luck of the draw or the painstaking process of creating a S-tier hiring system. Okay, and I know that because I had to create these like crazy, very advanced hiring talent acquisition systems for my sales agency back in the day. Okay. So this is the new AI arbitrage era. This is the new AI gold rush, and this is how we take advantage of it. The reason why this AI agents model works so well is it creates the highest form of leverage that you can use in business, which is code and media. It's an exploding industry. It's growing every single day, every single month, every single quarter, and it takes advantage of this economy that the market is really headed towards. So I know a lot of you might have seen like, oh, try out this new AI business model, try out this thing, you might already have a very successful business and you don't want to jump ship. So you're not going to try to go for the next shiny object of like the AI agency, but you might want to actually leverage still the AI advantages without having to jump ship of what you currently have, because what you have might already be good. You just want to take it to great, right? So my invitation to you is think of the top 10% of business owners. The top 10% of business owners in today's markets are not just seeing AI agents as theory. They're using it, they're implementing it, and most importantly, just like our clients, so they're booking 100 plus calls and we're doubling and tripling sales in 2025. Okay, this is not theory, this is happening right now. And so this is your blue ocean moment. If you've been waiting for a blue ocean moment, this is it. So will you wait? Are you going to wait for another thing to be saturated, or are you going to ride the AI wave? Because Gary Vaynerchuk, he said in the podcast I was watching, this isn't going to be another fad, okay? This is not like NFTs. Yeah, I got stuck in that fad. I'm not going to lie. I lost a lot. I made 6 figures and lost 6 figures in NFTs, okay? It's not one of those. This is going to slow build, and it's going to be creating its own, own domain, own space, like social media. This is social media like 3.0. It's just the evolution of social and software, but it's even better because again, it has autonomy. It goes beyond software because the thinking and the compounding actually stacks. Okay, so if you want to win in 2025 and beyond, you must evolve. Okay, you must evolve. So that being said, let's talk a little bit more about like AI agents and how it might actually be helpful for you, because they're not just like these chat bots, or they're not just like Chat GPT. They actually are operators. They actually are talent inside of your business. They drive revenue. They can qualify leads. They can handle objections. They follow up relentlessly. They book calls on your calendar. They personalize outreach at scale. They reactivate debt leads into sales. Okay. And what it doesn't do is it doesn't call in sick. It doesn't miss follow-ups. It doesn't burn out or ghost on you, or they don't say that they got to like take a 7-week or a 7-day break because they're exhausted from Q2. They don't complain about the lead quality, which is like the stress and emotional, price that you don't even think about managing a team. They don't waste your time with unqualified prospects, and they don't forget to update the CRM or engage with old leads. Okay, this is sales automation, but smarter, quicker, and fully conversational. Right? Sales automation by itself is just software. Sales automation with AI is conversational, it's smart, quick, it's quicker, and it doesn't need you, okay? So it's not just ChatGPT either, right? Because AI tools, which is like ChatGPT or learning language models like ChatGPT and Claude, those are scripted, they're generic, they can't book sales calls by themselves, they can't handle questions, or they only handle questions only. They feel a bit robotic. AI agents, they learn and adapt from their previous behavior and data. So they actually get smarter and better as time goes on, just like a normal human sales rep. They'd actually be custom trained for your business and unique offer, right? So we custom build and train, AI agents and AI sales reps for our clients, and we can literally customize it based on what you want it to do, based on your business. So that's the difference between software. Software oftentimes is like confined in this box, right? AI agents thinks beyond the box and actually grows, and it turns that box into like the Great Pyramids of Giza. Okay, like it starts building on its own. It can schedule directly to your calendar. It handles objections and pre-sales, and it feels like a real employee. Like the way that we treat it inside of our team and inside of our clients' teams is we literally treat it like it's actual talent or employee in the team. I know it sounds a bit scary, right? But hey, software, the social media at first was scary. People just got used to it. Same thing is happening with AI agents, right? So AI tools often save time, but AI agents are actually driving revenue, are closing more deals, qualifying leads, calling and texting your actual prospects, and helping you close those deals. This is all real. This ain't fantasy land, okay? This ain't Disneyland. Well, it could be if you wanted to be Disneyland. Disneyland is a good thing for you, okay? But I want to take a pause. I want you guys to really think about it, right? And if you want to like skip how to think about this all yourself, right? You could actually go into get the description below. My team actually helps build this out. So you can just go through a bit of the description below, the link there. I'll have a book to call page if you want to just skip the line and book the call directly, right? That being said, that's not really for everyone. Some people need that. Some people want to learn this stuff first themselves and they're smart enough to figure it out their own. Okay? All right, so now I actually want to go over the actual seven-figure AI sales system itself. How are we using AI inside of this actual system? How are we using humans still? What I call like the hybrid sales team model or the cyborg team model approach. I'm going to walk you through step by step how we're actually using this, because it's not about trying to add on a bunch of things. It's actually just how do we amplify and augment our current sales system to produce 2 to 3 times the results with half the time and effort. Really, that's the magic sauce, okay? So phase one, this is really simple. It's just like any other actual process that you use, right? You have paid ads or you have organic content or you're doing some sort of outreach. This could be cold email, this could be DMs, this could be your Dream 100 process, right? This could be anything in terms of outreach. Now, these are the 3 ways that you can actually get leads to get their attention. Now, you take them through your core funnel. So this could be your video sales letter, your IG funnel. It could be a lead magnet option. It could be a school or Facebook group community, right? It could be straight call booking, right? Some people run webinars or work challenges, right? Whatever your core funnel is, the whole process that we want is you actually want to qualify that lead. Okay, so we qualify that lead with the actual AI and the prospect. Let's say, hey, I want some more information about your fitness coaching, or hey, I want some more information about your agency or your coaching program, whatever it might be. Okay, so we have the AI agent call that lead within 60 minutes. We call that speed to lead. Speed to lead is so important because we have found, okay, even your best setters on average will get to your leads within, as early as 17 minutes to as late as 47 minutes, right? And that's some of the best setters. We know the honest truth is they're probably taking a lot longer than that, right? Again, human unreliability. So let's take the setter out of that equation. The setter can focus on other things, or at least work with the AI, but we actually want the AI calling or reaching out to that lead within 60 seconds or 120 seconds, so 1 to 2 minutes, okay? So it can DM, it can SMS, it could go on WhatsApp, it could do an outbound call, it could send, we even have this happening on IG and other social media. And we just qualify. They're either not qualified or we nurture them, they're not ready, or we take them through the qualification and they're like, hey, this person's ready for a call. So then we do what? We book the call. So again, we're still in phase 2. We're still in the interest phase, but they've booked the call. And now we have the AI agent actually assigning this to a human closer or an account executive, an AE inside the CRM. And here's the best part, okay? We're actually getting this AI to automatically update the CRM on behalf of your team, because we know how many hours of time that your team, if you have, especially a bigger team, how much time they just update the CRM, update admin. And like, let's be real, it's probably like 60 to 7% accuracy. There's like that 30 to 40% that people just forget, get lazy. They let it happen all at the end of the day, and then they're too lazy to update, so they're trying to do it the next morning, and then they don't get to the next morning because they wake up too late. Whatever it might be, human error again, we want to get rid of through actually getting the AI to do that. So that's the first, or the second phase, right? Interest. Once we actually book the call, the game does not stop. We got to turn that interest into desire, right? We got to do this pre-selling mechanism so we actually make sure they show up with a high show rate of 70+%, right? And most importantly, they're actually educated. They're not super cold. They're actually people who are like willing and able to listen to you on the call. They're not trying to be a dick the whole time and like, oh, why should I go with you? Or I only saw you. Like all those like BS like prospect like complaints that people have. I don't want any of that. So we want the AI to work to our advantage. We want to get them warming up the prospect. We have a warm-up process. So AI will send personalized emails, videos, and resources based on that specific profile. We actually have the AI analyze and be like, hey, this person may be a more sophisticated buyer, a sophisticated business owner, a sophisticated investor. So we might want to actually get them to get a more advanced piece of information. Who would have thought, right? Well, maybe someone's a beginner, so then we go the other way and we give something that's more beginner friendly. So now we're using AI to actually cater and customize your client's journey before they even buy from you, okay? And then re-engagement follow-up where necessary, okay? Because we all know sometimes we get so busy with sales calls. If you're fortunate enough to have a bunch of sales calls or your team has a bunch of sales calls, we know how annoying it can be to try to like confirm calls or follow up with calls in between your 3 to 5 or 6+ sales calls in the day, right? So you don't even get into it in the middle of the day. You're just trying to get it at the end or maybe the beginning of the next day. And even then, guess what? Your lead's already getting cold. So why? Well, because you're human. You literally cannot be in two places at one time. Well, guess what? AI can. AI agents can. AI sales reps can. So that's the beauty. Okay. Then from there, call confirmation. Okay. So AI, they follow up, they confirm the call, they need to reschedule. If that happens, we have a whole sequence for that. And if they no show, we have a whole sequence for that, right? We want to make sure we're staying on top of the ball with our pipeline and people who reschedule no show. The AI continues to have a sequence for that. Okay. Now let's get to the juice. Phase 4, conversion. This is what we really care about, right? The moolah, the money. This is where we want to get to that 30 to 50, 100K plus per month. Okay, so sales calls, the AI agent is now working together with you or your closer or whoever is taking that actual sales call, okay? We're not at a point yet where we have a full 45, 60-minute strategy session or a full sales call where the AI can close people on high-ticket stuff. It might be down the road, sure, but I'm just going to be very transparent and honest with you. I think we're quite a while from there. I just don't think humans are ready to purchase from just 100% owned AI sales process. That's why we have the hybrid approach, right? Now, low ticket, that's another story, another training for another day. The possibility is there, but we're just keeping it specifically to high ticket for your coaches, consultants, agency offers, okay? So the AI agent shares key prospect notes with the closers. The closer conducts the call. And then we have the AI call recorder, the AI agent actually joined to take notes. So imagine if every sales rep on your team or you had a personal admin taking notes and like customize those notes as follow-up. Well, guess what? That's what the AI agent does. So we then send the personalized, what I call game plan summary email to that actual prospect. So there's no lag in between. Again, speed to prospect in this case is just going to happen within the first few minutes of them ending the call. Summarizes it, puts a follow-up email. Now your closer can focus on what? Well, building the relationship instead of the admin, okay? So we have this AI-powered follow-up. We have the sales call, right? And then we have your follow-up call as well. That's optional because sometimes you might close in the first deal. Maybe it takes 1 or 2 extra calls. Maybe it takes 30, 60, 90 days based on nurture, right? Well, we want to have the AI work with you still. We want to send reminders, confirm on the follow-up calls, right? And your closer will come in there and follow up with the call. So we've had reactivations happen with the follow-up AI. We've had the AI agent work with the sales rep to remind them, as well as text the actual prospects on their behalf if it's like a 30, 60, 90+ deal, right? They're out there 3 to 6 months out, so your closer can just focus on deals from this week, right? They don't have to remember Susie Ann from like last November. The AI can save you a lot of time, but also not save you time, but if you really think about it, that's an additional possible 2 to 5 even deals every single month. We usually, when we do a reactivation, we'll see anywhere from 2 to 5, right? But it depends on how big your list is. So just think about it. What we were doing is we're creating the compound effect here. So every month that you're stacking this, it's getting better and better. So either they close as a deal and close as a client, you get that 3, 5, 10K in your pocket, or we just nurture the not qualified, the lost deal. So that is a 7-figure process I wanted to share with y'all. Here's the beautiful thing about the Sales Samurai system here is it starts to look really familiar to what a proven 7-figure sales process is, right? This is very similar to what I did before I even started implementing AI inside of our sales teams and clients. But guess what? We're taking the 20% that was really important, but oftentimes humans drop the ball on, and we're really just empowering it with AI. We're putting like this AI powered engine inside of your car. So you're upgrading from like, a gas only vehicle to a hybrid, uses half gas, half electric. Or some people, they might be ready to upgrade to a Tesla, like fully electric, right? And we know how much more efficient those cars are. You're saving money on gas money. They have better mileage. Their 0 to 60 can be faster than like an average gas car, right? They even look sexier on the outside. Come on, Tesla gang. I don't know if you like Elon Musk or not, but I think Teslas look sexy. So that's really what we're doing with your business, with your sales machine, is we're just amplifying the things that matter most that are often being missed and augmenting and amplifying with AI agents. So you have the humans working together, cooperative with the AI agents, instead of trying to replace the human with the AI agents. That's the magic. That's where I truly believe is the true juice to be squeezed. So that being said, that's it for today's training. I hope you liked it. Really, there's one or two things that I invite you for next step. Again, download the actual AI agents playbook in the description if you want to actually get access to these slides, to some of that notion I showed you, to the whole system, and just give you some more information on how you can do and implement some of these things on your own, right? If you're someone who just wants to implement on your own, have at it. I can give you the resources to that. Just give me your email. In exchange, I'll get you all these playbooks. Okay? Click on that link below. Now, if you actually want to just have my team do it, that's perfectly fine. We'll do it 100% done for you. There's actually a book to call link below. You can go ahead, book a call with me. We'll experience and we'll show you and we'll demo you the AI agent in action. You can feel it for the flesh, feel it in flesh. That doesn't sound right. You can see it in the flesh. And most importantly, I'm going to actually give you an AI game plan. Whether or not you decide to work with us or not, I'll give you a customized AI game plan. You'll talk with me directly on how you can start using AI and use it as your unfair advantage. And most importantly, how can you install and launch this in the next 14 days, especially if you're not tech savvy. So that being said, thank you for your attention, fellow samurai. I'll see you in the next training.